a little bit. I want to talk to you today about how to set intonation on your acoustic guitar. A lot of people says it can't be done. A lot of people just don't believe that you can do it. They don't know how to do it. A lot of people, most people don't know how to do it. You can. You have a little bit of adjustment on your acoustic guitar. In fact, you have the width of your saddle, the width of it this way, this width of it. It's not very thick. It's what, maybe, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch at most. The thickness of your saddle is how much intonation adjustment that you have. Okay? Now, if you'll look at this saddle, let me zoom you in here a little bit, show you up close. This is a compensated saddle. Like I say, this is a tusk saddle. It's compensated. If you can see, like the first, let's see, what is it? First and second strings, the break angle are near the bridge pins. The third, fourth, and fifth, the break angle are away from the bridge pins. And the sixth string, the bass string there you see, I think is nearer the bridge pins. Maybe it's nearer center. Anyways, like I say, that's a compensated saddle. It corrects as much intonation problem as it can. Okay? Now, zoom the camera back out. We'll talk about how you set your intonation on your acoustic guitar. How to do it. On guitars that don't have any adjustment. Hold on, let me reset the camera up here. Okay. Let's say we're in tune. We're up to pitch, 440 standard tuning. Get a harmonic on your first string on the first fret. And then note the first string, not the first fret, the 12th fret, dummy. Harmonic at the 12th fret. And then note the 12th fret. And use a reliable tuner for this, because it can be off a few cents. Your ear might not hear it. Okay? Let's say that that note noted is sharp. Okay? If it's sharp, what that means, to correct that, you have to make the distance from that 12th fret to the break angle on the saddle. You got to make that distance longer. Okay? Under the same tension, if this string was longer, under the same tension, the same tuning, if it was longer, that note noted at the 12th fret would be lower. Okay? If it's sharp, you need to increase the distance under the same tension, and it'll solve your intonation problem if you have an intonation problem there. Same thing goes for every string. Say the 5th string. If it's flat and you need to raise that noted note at the 12th fret, under the same string tension, you need to make this distance from the break angle point on the saddle to the 12th fret. You need to make that distance shorter. Okay? Now, in order to do that, you would have to get in here with a file and file the back side of this saddle. Okay? You with me? File the back side of the saddle nearest the bridge pins, and file it in a way that the string, where the string leaves the saddle, is nearer this side of the saddle than it is this side. Okay, that would shorten the distance, shorten the length of string. You see what I mean? And like I say, on acoustics, you have the width of the saddle, the width of it from this side to this side. That's how much adjustment you have. You can make the break angle on the back side of the saddle nearest the pins to make that distance longer, or you can make it on the front side to make that distance shorter. And you're talking maybe an 1/8 to a 1/16 of an inch. You know, that's not very much, but usually it's enough to intonate your acoustic guitar and get it perfect. Okay? Now, Let me say it again. First string harmonic at the 12th fret. First string noted. That sounds a little flat, maybe. But I'll check it with a tuner when I do work on it. So let's say it's flat, okay? That distance from the saddle, the break angle on the saddle to the 12th fret, it's flat, needs to be sharper, so it needs to be shorter. A shorter distance, and leaving that string at that tension will raise that note. It'll make it higher and make it intonate. I think it is a tiny bit flat. So I would have to get in there with a file at the first string. Need to make this shorter, so I need to file on the back side and create an angle there where the string breakaway was as close to this side of the saddle as possible, shortening that distance. You dig what I'm saying?
Are you with me? Woo!
Okay. That's the way you would intonate your acoustic guitar. And it takes a lot, you know, it's not like an electric guitar where you can stick a screwdriver in there and crank the saddle underneath a certain string backwards or forwards. This is not that simple. You got to get in there with the file and file that break angle. It's the break angle that is so important here, guys. It makes or breaks the intonation being perfect. That one may be a little bit sharp. And you want to always do this with new strings. Don't ever set your intonation with old rusty ass, no good dead strings. Don't do it. Put new strings on, set it up right. I'm going to say that 5th string at the 12th fret is a little bit sharp from that. So if it's sharp, we need to make the distance from the 12th fret to the break angle on the saddle longer. Okay? So in that case, I would have to file from this side of the saddle, file underneath that 5th string from this side, make the break angle as far back on this end of the saddle as I could toward the pins, increasing this distance from the 12th fret to the saddle. Need to increase that distance as much as I can, and all I have to work with is the width of the saddle mostly, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But increasing that distance, making it longer from the break angle here to the 12th fret, and the string at the same tension will make that note lower, and it will fix the intonation problem. Okay, now we got that out of the way. I hope you understand that. I hope that's good enough. You can buy, like I said, you can get compensated saddles. This is one. I think you can see there how it favors one side or the other under the 1st and 2nd strings, and then leans forward under 3, 4, and 5, and then back toward the bridge pins again under the 6th string. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. You can come up here under at the nut on the 2nd string, and you can start removing material on the break angle of this nut. Okay, the string is breaking away from the nut right there, right at the very edge of the nut. I know because I filed this nut out myself. So it's breaking right at the end of the nut. Now I could come up here in the middle of the nut, right in the center of it. Okay, the distance between here and here, I could meet that halfway and route this 2nd string out from this side. So let me just put this thing on the bench and explain this to you this way. It'll be much easier. Okay, let's say you've done everything you can do to get your intonation right, to get it correct, but you have some strings and some notes that note out low, they're flat. You've done everything you can do back here. Well, you can come up here and route this nut out, say under the, let's say the 3rd fret, 2nd string is flat, and we've done everything back here we can do. This note is flat. The last option we have is what I was talking about, routing this nut out about half the width of the nut to make the 2nd string break angle farther up. What we're doing is increasing the entire scale length of the guitar. It may not sound like very much, the width of half the width of the nut, but it's enough to make a big difference. Okay? So we increase the entire scale length on this 1/2 string that's noting flat on the 3rd fret. And we do that by changing the break angle of that string on the nut from the fretboard side of it up, making it break on the upper side toward the pegs. That increases the scale length. Obviously we can't move the frets, but we can increase the scale length. Okay? Then when you note in that very same place with a longer scale length, well, first your center of the 12th fret is also going to move in the same direction that you increase the length, so the harmonic there over the 12th fret would slightly move in this direction. Okay? Then when you note this note right here with it in tune, after you've routed out the 2nd string to make the break angle on the peg head side with the nut instead of down here, then when you hit this D note, it's going to be sharper because you've increased the scale length, you've increased it, and you're noting here in the same place on the 3rd fret, but the scale length on that string is a little bit longer, so it's going to make that note a little bit sharper. Same thing applies for every string. You can do every string if you want to. I learned this trick off of Jeff Stelling. He builds Stelling banjos, and he does his banjos, a lot of them this way, to get them to intonate perfectly. And you can do it on guitars, though I haven't seen many of them done. You don't see it much on very many instruments. I don't know if I've seen it on more than a couple of guitars or not in my lifetime, but usually they're not that bad and you don't have to go that extreme that far. I'm just saying, if you do, you know, if you do everything you can back here and you've worked the width of the saddle and it's still not enough, you can come up here and take, you know, change the break angle on the nut. So I have an awful lot of questions on Facebook about that, so I wanted to make a video of it. I'm sorry about that really bright ass light, but it can't be helped. Anyways, that's how you set intonation on your acoustic guitar. And I didn't know it until now, but this guitar needs a little bit of touching up. Well, the strings have been on it for a couple of weeks now, so it could be that. Like I say, never do this with old strings. Have new, fresh strings on when you do it. Don't ever trust your ear. Use a good, reliable tuner. I like to use Peterson tuners. Like I say, that's just another way to, well, it's the only way, actually, to set your intonation on acoustic guitar. A lot of people, you know, they won't go to the trouble of doing all that. It's a lot of work and it's slow. It takes a long time to file, you know, from whichever side of the saddle you need to, back here or up here. It takes time and it takes a lot of work and effort, and you should use a tuner, like I say. And you can set the intonation on your acoustic guitar, maybe not perfect, but you'll get it so close, a few cents, the human ear is not going to detect it, especially when you're playing with a band full of people that's playing way too damn hard. And I'm going to make a video about that. Dynamics. Why the hell you play so hard, man? I'm going to make a video about that. It's coming. Stay tuned to this channel. We're going to talk about that. Anyways, intonation. You want to get it as perfect as you can. It's probably always going to be out a few cents one way or the other, but the human ear is not going to detect that, especially in a band setting where you're playing with 15 other people or whatever. But anyways, that's the way you set the intonation on your acoustic guitar. I realize tonight that I need to check this guitar. This is the Blue Ridge. I'm going to be playing it for a while till my hand gets better, because it's still giving me fits, and it's got the smallest neck of any guitar that I play mostly. So I hope that helps with your intonation and acoustic guitar problems. Hope it answers some questions for you. And I wouldn't recommend, getting into filing your nut slots to get your intonation right. Not unless you really know what you're doing. Like I say, you can do it on certain notes up here, down so far, but you'd be much better ahead just to send the guitar to me and let me do it for you. Really, you would. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this video helped you all, and I'll see you soon on whatever's coming up next. Cue ball, I don't know where she is. I can't give you a fix right now for that, but she's not far away, and you will get more fixes from the ball of Q. Cheers. I'll see you soon.